Welcome to History Narrated. Today, we dive into one of the most peculiar conflicts in history, a war not between humans, but between humans and birds. This is the story of the Emu War. Our tale begins in Australia, shortly after World War I. The year is 1932, and the Great Depression has hit the world hard. Australian veterans, having returned from the war, were given land to farm in Western Australia as part of a government-backed program. But these new farmers were about to face an unexpected enemy. The emu is a large, flightless bird native to Australia. Standing up to 6 feet tall and weighing as much as 100 pounds, these birds are formidable creatures. In the spring of 1932, approximately 20,000 emus migrated from the inland to the coast, seeking food and water. Unfortunately for the farmers, their crops lay right in the emus' path. The emus descended upon the farmlands, devouring crops and trampling over fields. For the struggling farmers, already dealing with economic hardship, this invasion was a disaster. Their livelihood was at stake. Desperate for a solution, the farmers turned to the government for help. They requested military assistance to combat the emu threat. And so, the Minister of Defence, Sir George Pearce, approved a military operation to cull the emu population. Armed with Lewis guns and led by Major G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery, soldiers were deployed to the region in November 1932. They had 10,000 rounds of ammunition and a mission to eradicate the emus. The first attempt at controlling the emu population took place on November 2nd. The soldiers found a group of around 50 emus and opened fire. But the birds, surprisingly resilient, scattered into smaller groups, making them difficult targets. Only a few emus were killed. Over the next few days, the soldiers continued their efforts, but they faced numerous challenges. The emus were incredibly fast, running up to 50 kilometers per hour, and their erratic movements made them hard to hit. On November 4th, the soldiers set an ambush near a local dam where a large number of emus were spotted. As the birds approached, the soldiers opened fire. But again, the emus scattered, and the machine guns jammed. Only about a dozen emus were killed. By the end of the first week, only a few hundred emus had been killed, far fewer than the thousands expected. Major Meredith commented on the resilience of the birds, noting that even when hit, emus could often keep running. The soldiers then tried to mount one of the machine guns on a truck, hoping to chase down the emus. But the terrain was rough, and the truck couldn't keep up with the birds. The operation was proving to be a fiasco. By mid-December, after several weeks of unsuccessful attempts, the government decided to withdraw the military. The so-called Emu War was deemed a failure. In the end, only about 1,000 emus were killed out of the estimated 20,000. The Emu War was widely reported and ridiculed in the press, both in Australia and abroad. Major Meredith later remarked, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world." While the emu problem wasn't entirely resolved, the farmers eventually found other means to protect their crops, including building better fences and employing professional hunters. The Emu War remains a fascinating and somewhat humorous episode in military history. It's a story that highlights the unpredictable challenges faced by farmers and the sometimes absurd outcomes of human-animal conflicts. The Emu War is a reminder of nature's resilience and the unexpected twists in history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Emu War. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to History Narrated for more intriguing stories from the past. Until next time, keep exploring history.